Man is back. I wasn't on last night, I'm afraid, but I'm back now. Hi, Michael. Hi, Helen. Up there in Scotland, we've got 18 people watching already. Starman live. Yeah. I'm going to be talking about the lunar eclipse in this live. It's only a short one. I'm only on for half an hour because I'm just a little bit stuck for time at the moment. So, hi, Rick. Did anybody get to see the eclipse? I didn't get to see any of it. It was totally cloudy, but I kind of had a funny feeling it would be. It wasn't going to be that easy to see this lunar eclipse anyway. So because the moon would be so low down. Hey, by the way, I've got a new hat. Look at this. Oh, fancy new hat. Starman has got a new hat. Hi, Michael. Hi. Hi, Moonage Daydream. Yeah, so just a quick one tonight. I'm only on till 8:30, and I've not got no quiz, I'm afraid, this week. So I haven't really had time to put one together. But yeah, so it's really just to talk about the. Hi, Catherine. It's really just to talk about the eclipse, really. Because we had a total lunar eclipse this morning. I'll wait for a few more people to come in first. Is that your new disguise? Says Mooney's Daydream. Yeah, what do you think? It's fancy, isn't it? Hey? Oh, hey, I look right posh with this hat on, don't I? Hey? Proper peak on it as well. Not that wonky peak that I've got on my other one. Hi, Kay. Hi, Kay. Said he just right had a humdinger of a storm, says Michael, over there in Manchester. Yeah. So did anybody see the eclipse? Anybody at all? I don't know if anybody did. It seemed to be cloudy all over. Hi, Georgina. It's Andy in Selkirk, Scotland. Too cloudy to see the eclipse up here in the Scottish borders, unfortunately. Yeah, I think it was cloudy everywhere. I didn't see any pictures from this country of the eclipse. Didn't bother getting up for a photo. I just looked out of the window and saw the heavy cloud and went back to bed. That's what I did, Stefan. I did exactly the same thing. I set the alarm for about 3 o'clock, and then I looked out the window and I thought if I could see the moon, I'd go out. But I couldn't see any sign of it. There was just cloud everywhere. So I decided to go back to bed again. Yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately, the lunar eclipse, we didn't do very well. Thanks, Mooney's Daydream. She says I look lovely in my hat. So, hi, Sarah. Hi, Jamie E. Yeah, so if we could have seen the eclipse up here, I would have done a video on it, I would have gone out and done a video on it. I didn't see the lunar eclipse due to cloudy conditions. Too many storms were in the area. Yeah, that's what happened. We had the storm coming today. If you look on my other channel, you'll see we had a bit of a storm coming. Hoping to cop the eclipse, says Rick, down to London in the early hours, but no, a few breaks in between. Cloudy in Hull, says Darren Howell. Yeah, it was always going to be a tough one. Hi, Peter Johnson in Ramsbottom. It was always going to be a bit of a tough one, this, because the moon was going to be low down. Hi, Sheila. Yeah, you can watch it later. And the sky was brightening as well. Now, funny enough, I don't know if you know, but you know how we have a full moon every month? Well, the moon is never quite full. It's never totally 100% full. The only time you ever get a 100% full moon is during a lunar eclipse. Did you know that? And that's because the sun, say the sun over here, and you've got the earth in the middle, and you've got the moon over here, and they're exactly in line. So even though the earth is in the way of the sun, blocking out most of the light, it allows the atmosphere of the earth allows some of the light through onto the moon, makes it go that red colour. When it's in total phase, it is a 100% full moon. It is fuller than any other moon you can have. A fully eclipsed moon is the fullest moon we can see. It means we're seeing all of it lit up, even though it's in a red colour and it's very dull. And if you're trying to take a photograph of the lunar eclipse when it's fully red, you have to give it a lot more exposure than you do if you were taking a picture of a normal full moon, because the normal full moon is very bright, whereas when the Earth is in the way, the shadow of the Earth cast onto the moon makes it go all that red colour because it's shining through the atmosphere of the Earth. It's the atmosphere of the Earth that creates. If Earth had no atmosphere, I think the moon would just disappear. I think it would. I think they'd be so black it would just disappear. Hi, Tony. Couldn't see anything in Wolverhampton. Hi, Jenny Bates. It doesn't look like anyone was lucky enough to see the eclipse. It's a starman waiting in the sky. Yeah, hi. Hi, the hustler. So I was just saying then that whenever you see a full moon, you know, it's not really a full moon because, you know, when you have a lunar eclipse, let's say that you have, I know it's confusing, this poster behind, we've got the moon there, but let's say that on one side you have the sun, in the middle you have the earth, and on the other side you have the moon. When all of those are perfectly in line, when all bodies are perfectly in line, that's when you get a total lunar eclipse. When the earth moves in front of the sun compared to the moon. So that's when you get a lunar eclipse, and it's also the fullest moon you'll ever see because everything is perfectly in line. Any other time and they're slightly off, you know, slightly off. Always think that to myself, or slow when Starman is on, says Tony. Just got up to watch it, Stephen, but it was too cloudy. Yeah, I did that, Julie. I looked out the window and then went straight back to bed. Yeah. So yeah, the thing about lunar eclipses is that you nearly always you get them after solar eclipses. Now back on April the 30th, we had a solar eclipse. We didn't have it here, but there was a solar. It wasn't a total solar eclipse. It was a partial. I think it was a 60% partial, and I think you had to be somewhere in Asia to see it. So what happens is that every so often the sun and moon line up. They just line up between us and the earth. The moon happens to come into line with the sun when it's at a new moon. So when the moon moves in front of the sun from our position, it happens to intersect the sun when the sun is at a certain level, and that's when you get eclipses. Now it's a partial eclipse we had in April, and is that your latest impression, Starman? Says Moon is. So we had a partial solar eclipse in April, and what happens is normally after you get a solar eclipse, you get a lunar eclipse following it, and that's exactly what we got this morning. We had a total lunar eclipse, but unfortunately, where we are in this country, we didn't really get a good view of it. So if you look at some pictures online, I'm sure you'll see loads of people in America got it, and other places where they were lucky enough to see it. So we, you know, if it wasn't cloudy, we would have definitely seen it. And we've seen a couple of total lunar eclipses here. I mean, they happen more often than a solar eclipse. Certainly do. And that's because the Earth's shadow is massive compared to the moon. You know, when the moon moves in front of the sun, you know that the sun is 400 times further away from the moon. And yet the size of the two, they link up the same in the sky. They're almost the same size, the moon and the sun. Isn't that amazing? Half a degree across the moon in the sky and the sun. Both about the same. I say about the same because they are the very, very slight differences. The moon can sometimes be smaller and it can sometimes be a little bit bigger, and so can the sun. But the sun, because it's so far away, it's nowhere near as noticeable when the sun is slightly closer to us than when it's further away. But you can sort of tell when the moon is closer and when it's further away. It's around about 11% or something like that difference in size. I think with the sun it's probably more like it's maybe 3% or something like that in difference, and it's very difficult. You can only really see it with a telescope or something like that, but it's a bit of a coincidence that the two happen to be the same size, but because they're on different orbits, because the sun goes around like that, or say we go around the sun like that on this orbit, and the moon goes around on a slightly different orbit, a little bit more eccentric, a little bit more at an angle, and that's why you don't get a total eclipse every month. Otherwise you would do, because they'd always line up every month. Hi Frank. Hi Paul, surely not Smith. So I've got some pictures here. So Here's what you could have seen. So if you'd have seen the total lunar eclipse, this is what we would have seen. Look at that there. That was from last time. Was it last time? Yeah, I think it was last time. A few years ago, taken on the promenade in Blackpool, and you can see here we've got complete shadow of the moon there. A little bit of brightness up here. There is sometimes you get a bit of brightness near the edge if it's not completely. This is in total phase here, but you get a little bit of brightness up here on the edge as the shadow moves across. But just look at that colour there. Isn't it amazing how it comes out in like a blood, yeah, a blood moon, yeah. That's right, it's a blood moon. They call it the blood moon. And some people think that it's a sign, they think it's like a doom, a sign of trouble or something like that. So, yeah, there's a lot of suspicion about the blood moon, but that's what we probably would have seen. Although we probably wouldn't have seen it as good as that because that was in a dark sky. And yet this morning, I don't think the sky would have been that dark enough because the moon was so low down, and also the sun was rising at the same time as well. The sun's starting to get up fairly early now. So the sky would have been quite bright. So there you go. So it's funny really, but it's quite bright at the moment. I've not got the light on, and it's strange to be doing a video like this when it's light. You can see why people in the past were superstitious and thought up the gods. Yeah, you can. So that's a total lunar eclipse. That's what it looks like. The moon lights up, well, it doesn't light up, it goes dark, but it turns red colour. It's actually really spectacular to watch. You can watch it from the start to begin. It takes hours. The actual total eclipse phase lasts about 90 minutes at the most, up to about 90 minutes when it's red, yeah? And the actual eclipse itself can last many hours. From the moment the shadow passes, the Earth's shadow starts to make the moon look really black and dark and dirty. I would say dirty. And when it gets to the total phase, that's when it starts to light up red. It's a really, really amazing sight to see. I actually saw a partial in Liverpool. I think I've got it here. This is what a partial lunar eclipse looks like. Can you see that there? Over Liverpool. That was a partial lunar eclipse. It looked like the moon was like a crescent almost, but it wasn't. It was actually being eclipsed by the Earth's shadow. So the Earth's shadow was between the Earth was between the sun and the moon, enough to cause a partial lunar eclipse, but not a total one. And you can see Liverpool down there as well. Look. I was very lucky to see that because there was a lot of clouds. I wanted to get that picture when the moon was much lower down, but unfortunately, it took ages for the clouds to clear, and eventually, the moon did come out of the clouds, and I managed to get that picture there. What I really wanted to do was try and get it over the Liver building, or maybe a lot lower down. That was what I was trying to do. Thanks, Kay. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's amazing how it happens. Yeah, so I was quite happy with that picture actually, because I'd gone all the way over there to get it, you see, and so it wasn't a wasted trip. But that was just a partial lunar eclipse, and they are pretty spectacular as well. Like I said, you're more likely to see lunar eclipses, total lunar eclipses, in this country. If it's a solar eclipse, the moon, where the moon moves in front of the sun, the chances of seeing a total solar eclipse are much, much less because the shadow of the moon is so thin. It's so small compared to the other way around. When the Earth casts a shadow on the moon, it casts a shadow, complete shadow all over the moon. Whereas when the moon casts a shadow on the Earth, it's only like a little well, I say a tiny. It's about 50 miles maybe, 50 miles wide. You need to be in that 50-mile wide if you want to see the total eclipse. If you're outside of that line, you'll see a partial. And the further away you are from that line, the less of an eclipse you'll see. And eventually you won't see an eclipse at all because you won't be anywhere near the line. So I picked on Facebook, someone posted and they took numerous shots as the moon moved towards the sky above the total. Yeah, they're good those, aren't they, Steph? Like a montage, aren't they? I've never done that, actually. I could do it. I remember the solar eclipse in the 90s, says Kate Arbley. I don't remember that because I wasn't really doing astronomy then for some reason. Flower moon. Is it the flower moon? I think it might be the flower moon. And when space tourism becomes involved, would it be something? No, I wouldn't, George. I'm not doing that. I'm staying right here. I am staying right here. So that's how a partial solar eclipse looks. Hi, Helen. Partial solar eclipse. Partial lunar eclipse, sorry. Partial lunar eclipse. Yeah, it looks like a crescent, doesn't it? But it's actually the shadow of the Earth is sort of made one part of the moon look dark, and it makes it look like a like a. I think you would love to see the Earth from the moon during a lunar eclipse. It would look well. It would look dark, wouldn't it? You wouldn't. Would you see the sun? Well, you wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't see the sun at all. It would completely block out the sun altogether. But you would have a strange kind of light on the moon. Instead of being blasted by the sun, you would have like a red glow coming towards you. You would probably see, I tell you what you would probably see. You would probably see a glow around the Earth. I expect the Earth would look like it's glowing, you know, around the outside, because that the sunlight can get through. The moon would completely obscure. So the Earth would completely obscure the moon. So you see the moon behind me. So imagine that you see the moon there. If I was to do this, can I do this with a bottle top? I don't know if I can do it. The Earth is bigger. When you're on the moon, the Earth is going to cover it like that altogether. Can you see? The Earth is going to cover the moon altogether. In fact, it'd probably be like that. Yeah? Let's cover the sun. Imagine that's the sun. It would cover the sun. So you would get a complete shadow across the moon. And if you were on the moon looking at the Earth, when the Earth is moved in front of the sun, you would, I think that, you know, I've never seen a picture of that, and I'd like to see a picture of it. I've never seen that. I need to find out actually what would happen. What would you see? Would it be completely dark, or would you be able to see the atmosphere of the Earth shining through? I think you probably could do, but maybe it's not as obvious as what I'm thinking. Maybe if you use a long exposure photograph from the moon, you would be able to bring out the atmosphere. I don't know. You know, that's something I've made to look into because I'm sure that they could take a picture of that. You know, they could take a picture of the Earth from behind the sun and see the atmosphere of the Earth, bringing that those red rays through, and those red rays that land on the moon. Maybe it's not as much as what I think, but I'm pretty sure that you could see it. Hi, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's August 1999. Anyway, and it went really still. Yeah, I think that was the one. Was it down in Cornwall? Okay, down in Cornwall. I was not. Oh, hang on a minute. There was a. We might have seen it up here near Blackpool. We went to see it. I think I was in Preston. Yeah, not very romantic, really, up in Preston to see the eclipse. But I think the total eclipse was down in Cornwall. Yeah. We had a partial. Hi, Lee Mansfield. Hi, Lee. Shame last night not good. I had a cracking plan over Peel Tower. Yeah, I was in Blackpool for the 99 eclipse. It didn't seem to be total. Yeah, it won't have been. It'll have been a partial up here. I think it was full down in Cornwall. I think there was a very small part of Cornwall where you could be for the eclipse. Some people saw it, and some people didn't. Now I remember Patrick Moore and the Sky at Night. They went down to Cornwall to see the total eclipse of the sun. But unfortunately, they were clouded out. But other people did see it, you know, even in the same sort of area. You know, luckily enough, there were some breaks in the clouds. So they managed to see the total solar eclipse. I don't think that there's another solar eclipse in this country until next century. Yeah, it did go quite dark back then, but even the birds got confused. Yeah, yeah, I think the birds go quiet, don't they? Yeah, the birds, they know when And the wind drops as well. You know the wind before a solar eclipse, not a lunar eclipse. Before a solar eclipse, the wind drops. It's really weird. Yeah, it's in a lot better down in Cornwall, says Scott. I live in Plymouth. I had a metal line on the hoe about 99 eclipse. I have a metal line on the hoe. I was in Birmingham. It was very visible, says Kay. Yeah, so we're not going to get we're not going to get a total solar eclipse here, I don't think, for a long time. But we will get more lunar eclipses because lunar eclipses are more likely. So we can look towards those. We can look forward to those. It was full too here, was it? The moon looked really nice the night when it was up though. It wasn't quite full, but it was. It looked. Google says next solar eclipse 2090. Oh, so it is in this. It is in this. Hang on a minute, 2090. Ah, yeah. So it is this century then. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, Lee says 25th of October 2022, partial lunar eclipse. Ah, now then, I'll have to make a note of that. I don't think I've made a note. I'm currently doing a diary of all the events of this year. I've sort of filled it into June, so I need to carry on doing that diary, and it helps me to know when. Yeah, 2090 from the UK, says Frank, and that's regarding the next solar eclipse. Is it a total one though, Frank? Is it a total solar eclipse, or is it just a partial? It probably. I'm hoping it's a total one because I'm sure there'll be lots of partials in between. To get a total solar eclipse, I mean, it could happen anywhere on Earth. It doesn't matter where you are. So anywhere on Earth has the same sort of chance of seeing a total solar eclipse. There's no special places that get more. I don't think there are anyway. I don't think there's any special places that get more. You're more likely to get a solar eclipse there than you are somewhere else. I think it's all just it's all the same. That's Mayswick, yeah, on the rail. Something I'll always remember. Total, says Google. Oh, total, Frank says. So 2090. So who's ready for 2090 then? October 20. Is it? Hang on. 20. I'll be. Stefan says there'll be 130. Well, you'll be a sprightly 130. Hi, Anthony Goodwin. Hi, Anthony and Fran. Over there in Stayner. We're recently on holiday in Berwick-on-Tweed. Hello. I think we've got another member viewer here who hails from that sort of area. Berwick-on-Tweed. It was awesome. I had no idea until we saw your video about it. Thanks very much. The Belt of Venus. Yeah, I've talked. That's Georgia painting. Yeah, I've spoke about the Belt of Venus a few times. 29. It might not be available to see that, says Scott. Well, you never know. Cryogenics and all that. You could put yourself down for the cryogenics and tell them to wake you up for the solar eclipse. And I'll be either fish food or pushing up daisies, says Rick. Like I say, you never know. You never know. They might just invent some. I've got some more pictures here anyway. The thumbnail to this video, by the way, is one that I took in Blackpool. And it's this one. Look at that. That's not Talbot Square, St John's Square in Blackpool. Has anyone been to Blackpool and seen St John's Square? They've got this artwork. It's really nice, actually. It's like a sort of dive board, and it's got this figure jumping off. And can you see? I got the moon, the eclipse moon there in the shot between the arms. And that's just above the Winter Gardens. You see that building down there? That's the Winter Gardens. And I just lined it up. I just lined the shot up with the figure so that I could get the... Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Kay. Yeah, thanks. Oh, this was taken very early in the morning as well. I think it was at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a stupid hour to be up. Yeah, Mooney's Trading says, me. Thanks, Catherine. Stefan Jefferson, thanks. So it was just a case of, I was out in town. I remember being there with my camera and thinking, oh, this is well dodgy to be in in the middle of the town centre with a big camera at this time of the morning. Yeah, that was from, I can't remember the date of that one. Oh, 2015, look at that. It says at the top, September 2015. So that was taken way back then. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, we've had a couple of really good total lunar eclipses here in Blackpool in the last sort of decade, you know. Unfortunately, this one, the one that happened this morning, even though we were clouded out, it would have been difficult to see because the moon would have been so low down and also the sky was brightening, so we wouldn't have got to see the best of it. So it was always going to be difficult. This one, amazing photo. We'll be there for a walk on the wild side live stream this week. Hope so, Georgia. Keep an eye out. I will try and do one. When was that, Stephen? Yeah, Lee. It was 2015 when I took this one. 2015. Taking it around 2 o'clock in the morning. And thanks, Mooney's Daydream. 2015, yeah. Up at stupid o'clock to take a picture of the total lunar eclipse. Yeah. Thanks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi, Nighthawk. Come and do a video at Affinity Shopping Centre. Yeah, that used to be Freeport, didn't it? Yeah. 2026 total solar eclipse, Spain. Yeah, there's actually one in 2024, Frank. The next best total solar eclipse is happening, I would say, in America. There's going to be another one in 2024 in America. It's going to cross Texas. It's going to cross some of the lower states. And it's probably going to be the next best solar eclipse after the Great American Eclipse of 2017, which I went to see. Yeah, which was absolutely amazing. Yeah, so then I would say, I don't know, I haven't had a look. If you want to find out about total solar eclipses, there's a very good site. In fact, it's the only site you should look at for total solar eclipses. Although saying that, it could be quite technical. It's mreclipse.com. So make a note of that, mreclipse.com. And he is the complete expert. It's Fred Espenak. He's ex NASA, I think. He used to work for NASA. And he knows everything there is to know about total solar eclipses. Yeah. So mreclipse.com. If you have a look at that site, it shows you all the eclipses for the next, well, probably 2,000 years, maybe. I don't know. And 2024, count me in on that one, says Rick. Well, we might join you for that one. Yeah. Julie Clay. Thanks, Julie. That's an award-winning shot right there. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I've got another one. Not the best time of the year, no, but I'm off to the border of Cornwall in a few weeks for some astro shot with a bit the stupid o'clock around Mullion. Land's End. No, it's all right, Steph. In fact, you're going to the best place because you're going as far south as possible, which means you can capture the Milky Way all year round down on the south coast. So if you're going at the best time of year, going off the border in a few weeks, if you're going, say, the end of May, that's fine. But you won't have a whole lot of time. You're probably looking at around about midnight to 2 o'clock. So this is for Stefan. Midnight until around 2 o'clock is your peak time. Midnight until 2. You're not going to have a whole lot of time, but you will be able to see the stars. You'll be able to see the Milky Way. If you take a photograph of it, it'll probably come out like a twilight. You might just get a little bit of darkness. I've been down there close to the solstice and we've still managed to get to see the stars, although we were waiting up quite late. I think we waited till about 1 o'clock before we actually saw anything. You know, we were wondering whether we were going to see anything because it was so bright. The sky was so bright, even down there on the south coast, you know. But if you go to the south coast in the middle of summer, you have a better chance of seeing the Milky Way. If you go towards the north of Scotland, you've got no chance because the sky is just going to be lit up. I mean, I noticed here now, I was out at 10 o'clock the other night, 10 o'clock, and the sky towards the north was blue, just like a really nice blue. And it's going to get bluer as to grow towards the solstice. The solstice is on June the 20th. Is it the 20th? I'm not sure. That's when the sun is, we get the longest day. So we get we get no night. We got no darkness at night at all. Don't forget coming soon. The NLC. Yeah, noctilucent clouds. Good call, Rick. Yeah, it's now noctilucent cloud season, so look out for noctilucent clouds. I don't know if I've got any pictures of them on here. Noctilucent clouds. That's a good one. Oh, by the way, has anybody seen the Blackpool mirror ball? That's what happens when the moon gets eclipsed by the Blackpool mirror ball. What do you think of that? There. The Blackpool mirror ball eclipses the moon. That's given me an idea, that, you know. It's given me an idea. I wonder if I could get a picture of the mirror ball and the moon the same size together. I'd have to be a certain distance away. I'd have to have the right angle or something like that. I think it could work. Well, I'll have to try that one sometime. I'm not sure if I could do it because of the angle of the dangle, you know, with it being on the promenade, and I don't know. But I could try it anyway. But anyway, yeah, Rick mentioned noctilucent cloud season. I did actually forget to say that. I probably should have had that. But yeah, it's where you look towards the north late on at night, say 11 o'clock to midnight, and you might be able to see some clouds that glow. You might be able to see a glowing cloud. I don't think I've got any pictures, but I'll probably talk about it next week when I see you next week, because you're more likely to see them later in the month, later in May than you are earlier. We're still sort of early in the season. But yeah, noctilucent clouds we're now in noctilucent cloud season. I don't think I've got any pictures, I'm afraid, on here. Let's see. Oh, no, I will have some on Flickr. I'll just show you some noctilucent clouds. Noctilucent. So we can go noctilucent cloud hunting. Yeah. These are what noctilucent clouds look like. You see that there? You see you've got the twilight towards the north there. In fact, the sky's still orange. Can you see how the sky's orange? Because it's like a sunset. And just above that, you might see a glow on a clear night. And those are noctilucent clouds. They're amazing. They are. Here's some more. Noctilucent cloud. There you've got that glow again. That glow, it's like a sunset. There's some more. So be on the lookout for noctilucent clouds, and you can see them no matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in the town. You can see them in the town fine. They light up anywhere. You don't need to be somewhere dark. Yeah, they are. They're amazing, aren't they, Rick? Look at them. Wow. Look at that. That's over Preston. I've got some over the big one, have I? Yeah. This is one of my favourite ones. Look at that there. We've got the pleasure beach there. This kind of gives you an idea of how high up they are. They don't tend to be very high up, although they can be sometimes. They tend to be fairly low down. So it's better to have like a low horizon. But you can definitely see there's a glow across the sky there. We're looking north, looking towards the north, or not sort of northwest, and sort of, it depends whereabouts the sun is. Wherever the sun might be, because the sun's below the horizon, but wherever the direction of the sun is where you'll see. So early in the evening, you'll see them towards the northwest, and as the night goes on, they might disappear, or they might just carry on glowing all night, and they'll move towards the northeast. So it's worth keeping an eye out for noctilucent clouds, because we're just about starting in the season now. So be on the lookout for, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely amazing? Wowzers. Thanks, Gene Walker, sorry. I like the change of hat, Starman. Yeah, look at this hat. Isn't it lovely? I've got a new hat. You need to take Chris again. So funny, X. Says Moonage. Ah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I will do. I'll have to see if I can get hold of Chris for that. Yeah, will do. Anyway, I'm a little bit over time now. I've done all I can for now. Sorry there's no quiz this week, but I'll have one for you next week, hopefully. You need to get your parcel from Chris. Oh yeah, I do. I need to get the parcel from Chris, don't I? I need to go and see Chris, don't I? So I will do that. Did I catch the lunar eclipse? No, I didn't, Crispy. No, clouded out. Everyone was in the whole country. Thanks, Mary Brown. So that's it. I'm going to leave you there. Don't forget to look out for noctilucent clouds. Bye, Lee. Bye, Helen. Helen asked who I bought the hat. Somebody bought me this hat here. Oh, I never had a New York Yankees hat before. Well, I've got one now, haven't I? Thanks, Scott. So thanks everyone for joining in. We had quite a few people in as well. We had about 60 people, I think. That's amazing, isn't it? Thanks for watching. You can always look at my video on the lunar eclipse if you want to get some idea of what you could have seen. If you look at the video before, a couple of videos before this one, I talk about the lunar eclipse and how it would have looked. So you can look at that and see. And if you look back on my videos, you might even see the last time I did an eclipse video when I was out. I think I did one while I was out. I'm not sure, but you'll have to look back. It was a few years ago now. Anyway, thanks for joining in, everyone. That's it for this week. I will hopefully see you again next week on Sunday, or if not, some other time. I will definitely be back, and I will see you again on another video. Bye all.